Good morning, everyone. It's Mary Ellen coming to you from Moonrise Cottage for your May 2018 Soul Tarot reading. I am thrilled to be here with you as always. You are seeing an image of the cards for May, and I have a very exciting reading. We're going to do a little review. For those of you that are new, I am a clairvoyant person. I use the Celtic Wisdom Tarot cards developed by Caitlin Matthews. And I've been guided by my spirit guides to this year begin with the images of the cards. So we're going to do a little bit of review to help us remember what was happening in April, and then we're going to dive right into May. It's a very wonderful reading, very supportive, Spirit is saying, based on the things that have been coming through since the beginning of the year and in relationship to the past couple of months. So for those of you who don't know, let me transition over and say hi. Hi, everybody. Welcome. It is early morning here at Moonrise Cottage. Beautiful sun coming up over the horizon, and it woke me up, and I thought I'm just going to get up and do a couple of readings. So if you don't know, my website is moonrisecottagesoultarot.com, just like my YouTube channel. You can find all the information you need for readings and distance healing, the live stream subscription that's available to folks for special live stream events that are not generally open to the general public. All of that is there at moonrisecottagesoultarot.com. I am really excited about the type of messages that have been coming through. So let's go back to the cards and jump in. So there's May, and as you can see right off the bat, there is a continuation of the journey that started in April. Let's take a look. So take a look at the outcome card for May. It's the one that's on the far right in the center. And here's April. So just those two cards alone, Spirit is talking about the alignment of those types of notions. In April, there was a continuation of a metamorphosis journey that's been taking place since we came through the winter solstice, preparing us to walk into the days of 2018. It's going to be a very different year than last year was in terms of our soul journey. And we see in these cards the notation of going on a journey, standing in the center of your own self, and arriving here. The center row is the core of the reading. So Spirit wants me to focus on that this morning. The two cards in the middle of the center row indicate the Spirit message that's giving light and theme and guidance to the reading. And to the left of that, we see you sitting under that light in that theme in your human identity, Spirit says. There was a journey about returning to the self in a particular way, returning to the source through this shift and change of a new life coming. And we see the beautiful goddess of skill holding that new baby, and to her left, we see your human aspect, having arrived into this beautiful, tranquil place, to have some time to sit and think and ponder and understand where you've been and begin to ponder where you are going. The human journey talked about being a touchstone in your own life and bringing the sacred lore of your personal existence into a central position in order to have the next adventure into 2018. And the card in the center row on the far left is the bridge card that ties and transitions your human journey to what is happening on the soul level. And there we have a discovery, a quest, a sacred quest about returning to source energy. That's a salmon and is about making a discovery. And I love that it sits right next to this beautiful woman that indicates your placement, your standing, your energy flow in the month of April. It's about sitting in this beautiful, tranquil place, pondering what has been, and coming to a sacred discovery because you are on this quest, having an adventure. And on the spirit realm, cards on the top, we see this beautiful card that indicates a reflection of what is happening below. So take time to look at the cards above and the cards on the bottom and the reflection that they bring of each other and the message that is embedded in that, Spirit says. So the card on the top left is the Keeper of Harmony. It is about bringing harmony into a central place in your life and using that, if you will, as a strategy going forward into the next steps of your soul journey. Next to that, we see another image of a sacred initiate who is willing to sacrifice that which is needed to come into a place of reception of this sacred lore that the rememberer of lore, if you look at the reflection on the human realm, that's what the rememberer of lore does, bringing that which is sacred into a central position in order to receive and transmit that wisdom. And on the spirit realm, your soul takes that step to come into that realm and become an initiate of this sacred information in order to have a transformation within this lifetime. That's what your mission is. And Spirit's talking to me about the reality of how that will play out in 2018. So the outcome card, a beautiful card, that's the Dreamer of Growth. In traditional tarot, that's a star card. And we see the two halves of your journey joined. Your human realm and looking across into the mystic, firmly rooted there. A form of brilliance and ability to manifest and create that which is desired. It was a beautiful reading. And here in the month of May, we step in to the fulfillment of that dream, dreaming of growth and new abilities, and able to manifest that which is needed going forward. Here are the cards for May. Really astounding to me. The very first card, the Spirit card that gives theme and light, is all about, again, the soul journey. This is the Liberator of Devotion. All right, a major arcana card coming right on the top. A message from Spirit about the walk through May as you walk deeper into your destiny. This is about going across the portal. And last month we had all this discussion about being connected to the sacred realm and having Spirit's talking to me about regeneration. The last couple of months, it's been about transformation and evolution. And now that cycle is complete, and we are able to now come into this journey in a way that brings us across with accompaniment. So do you see the shaman? Pardon me. There we go. There's the light. Carrying the head. This is a beautiful Sheila Nagi. That's what this image is. It's all about new growth. And having been liberated into the new place in which you reside, you do come through another portal. Spirit talked about that in March. And you know what? I'm getting a leading to show you that. So here comes the cards for March. Spirit's talking about the card on the bottom left as a portal, in a sense. And we have three vessels in this reading. It's about going into the sacred place for healing and manifesting that which is meant to come. And the outcome was a soul journey. And here in May, we see a little bit of the continuation of that journey that the soul takes. And so as an opening, so to speak, no pun intended, as an opening, Spirit says, just another reminder that this year, this is what it's all about. Last year on a human level, we worked really hard to delve deep into ourselves. And, Spirit's saying bring things to rights, meaning rooting up some of the human obstacles, making our awareness come to uh, the surface of our understanding. This year, having done all that hard work, this year it's going to be about a deeper connection with the soul side of your journey and becoming acutely aware of that. So for this to come over the top, that's really beautiful. The Sheila Nagi is a sacred ancient symbol. There's a lot of mystery. This symbol, and you can look this up online, was found in the places where the Celtic peoples lived as Christianity began to rise and move across Europe. And Christian churches began to arise, often on the sacred sites of the ancient people, in order to encourage them to engage with the notions of Christianity. For some reason that is not known, this type of figure was found carved on the outside, south-facing wall of many, many of those churches that have come and gone. Most of the churches that were erected in that era have crumbled and fallen away, and these images continue to be found. Nobody really knows. There's no written information. But I think as a symbol, it's easy to understand. It's about the transition that a soul takes coming into a human life in order to be liberated. So the full name of the card is the Liberator of Devotion. It's truly beautiful given everything that has been discussed so far this year. Sitting next to that, in your human form, taking this transition and having come through what was experienced in April, this new life coming through, sitting, I'm going to show it to you. So there's the young woman, feminine energy, having her quest, bringing judgment, with the judgment of wisdom, Spirit says, to your current situation, and moving through the days that are going to bring you to the next phase. So take a look at the transformation of that young woman. Now sitting in the realm, Spirit says, in the energy pattern of the Queen of Art. That is just amazing to me. Really beautiful. You know, I've never done a reading this early in the morning, so forgive me, the light's a little challenging. The sun is not quite up over the trees yet. All right, so the Queen of Art is a very creative, very intelligent, highly principled individual. And what I love about this particular image for you is that she sits on a throne that is the triple spiral of change and growth and destiny. And the last couple of months, we've seen this discussion about a soul journey into the, Spirit's calling it a chalice, the chalice of healing, meaning the vessels I was talking about just a moment ago, and wandering through. That's interesting. So, this notion of wandering, a quest, is what Spirit was talking about from last month. In order to move yourself forward and to shift and change and grow, to solidify the connection of your soul journey into your consciousness in a way that is real and tangible for us, that's what we're going to be experiencing this year. So, having come through all those journeys, you have successfully bonded your energy. So, the Queen of Art, a very high position, in a sense, highly activated, sitting next to the beautiful fire of her passion. And last month I was talking about the beautiful judgment of knowledge and the way in which that young woman sits next to this body of water, her walk being transformed. This month, after all that pondering and all that decision making and all that questing, shift and change, you arrive into this moment where you are able to manifest. And the outcome card last month, I'm going to transition one more time. sorry, the dreamer of growth. So Spirit's chattering a lot. That's why I'm sort of hovering here on this notion, because Spirit's chattering a lot about the transition and the shift and change that has taken place. Okay? So now you enter into the artistic phase of the year where you are able to create out of that which gives you passion, sitting next to the fire, in a sense of passion and creativity. This woman is highly skilled. She is very well developed. And she has at her command, Spirit says, the triple spiral. That's an amazing, really beautiful, very strong message for you, given the opening card that comes along with. So, finishing this journey, having been carried across, Spirit says, you enter into the realm of the Queen of Art. And in that place, you continue your journey. So, I'm going to go through the cards. Spirit's asking me a lot this year to draw your attention to the way the cards are aligned in columns and rows, and the way the energy rises through the reading from the bottom corners up to the top. So as I'm going through and discussing, take some time to just notice that. The first card on the human realm is the dialogue of skill. Let me show you. Oops. There we go. This is a story about Merlin and the trials and tribulations that he went through. So as you begin this next active phase of your journey, there's a discussion that's going to take place, actually two sacred discussions with the spirit realm about your being, about your journey, and about your placement in order to bring your awareness to this notion, Spirit says. So the beautiful dialogue of skill is the story of Merlin having lost his way. And despite many efforts, he was wandering. He basically, in modern language, we would say he had PTSD. He was a little dissociated from himself. He had been through a lot of battles. He had seen a lot of horrible things. And he just became exhausted. And it was his very good friend, the poet, the great famous poet in the days, called Taliesin, that went to his old friend and basically began to talk to him about the creation of the world. So that's a profound difference in messaging from the place that we've been in, Spirit says. And I'm getting a lot of urging to highlight that notation. So this concept, in a sense, of reconstructing a knowledge of the world and coming home to yourself in a new way, being able to take up your life once again, having been transformed. And if you look at the blue garment, that always signifies transformation. So Merlin had to lose himself in a sense. It was part of his journey in order to be transformed through the love energy of this dear friend of his, in order to recreate a new context so that he could take up his life again, renewed and transformed. This card talks about moments of reintegration that come about when the complex web of life is rewoven. Isn't that a very interesting concept? The text talks about that notion, and it is what I'm getting is the spirit form of Taliesin. So, as I always say about this card, it's the spirit world putting its arm around you and saying, okay, now we've been through this process. A lot has transpired. Let's talk about that. Let's see the greater context of the meaning of all the things that have transformed. And last month, the woman of skill was here, just having a movement, the judgment. In the center, this beautiful young woman sitting in front of a pond, having a grand quest. thinking about everything that has come before. And so here we see the magic of that, Spirit says. Taliesin comes and seeks out Merlin to attempt to help him. And what happens in those conversations, that his soul had become fragmented. And it was the reintegration of the pieces of his soul knowledge that allowed him to return to his life and go forward renewed in a new direction. His life looked very similar, but everything had changed. And that's the notion that Spirit wants to talk about. So, reassembling your soul knowledge within your human framework, Spirit says, under the light of the Liberator of Devotion, and attended to by your current flow of energy with the Queen of Art. Highly, highly creative abilities. And Spirit's saying that is very important this month. This is an amazing message. Standing next to the dialogue of skill is the beautiful woman of skill. So a lot of feminine energy you'll notice in this reading. And the feminine energy, as always, about creating that which is to come, and accompanied by the male energy that moves the intention forward. It's truly lovely to me to see it aligned this way. Here's the card. The woman of skill. I love her dress. There are feathers on the bottom of her dress. Isn't that beautiful? Again, dressed in her passion, holds the sacred spool of destiny in her own hands. She is very highly activated, and she winds the spool of destiny around the sacred tower of that which inspires her, standing both in the mystical realm and here upon the earth. And I love that she stands next to a body of water. It is the continuation of her journey, Spirit's saying. And last month we saw all this notification of sitting by a beautiful body of water in a very serene way in order to have a quest. And there we are. So Spirit wants to talk with you a lot about the transition and the transformation that is occurring as we go deeper into the year. Next to her, no surprise, is the beautiful mover of energy. Another sacred arcana card aligned with the Liberator of Devotion. So in a sense, that liberation that you're experiencing, the reintegration, the ability now to be in command of your own destiny, to hold the spool of sacred destiny in your hands, able to manifest. That's what the outcome card last month talked about. The ability to manifest your desires, that which you dream about. And this month, we come into the reading having been liberated. It's a very sacred movement. There's the mover of energy. In the traditional tarot, that's the Chariot card, of course. Spirit always talks about this card in a particular way. So this young woman, feminine energy, moving forward. Spirit says, ponder the notion of feminine energy and its movement, and you will understand. There's the Sacred Mother above, guiding the way in which the movement will go and the new life and the growth that it brings. Again, hearkening back to the Dreamer of Growth, that was the outcome card last month. This form of, Spirit says, universal brilliance. Beautiful. All right, so the bridge. Very important this month, Spirit says. The bridge card, another major arcana card, having everything to do with the sacred imagination and sitting next to the Queen of Art, who is able to create. So Spirit's asking me to transition back to April just for a minute. Look at the reflection, Spirit says, of the transitory nature and the way in which you are coming so deeply into the new place based on the new life that was spoken about. So many different ways. and the dreamer of growth. And these notions about a quest and transformation and bringing harmony into a central position. Now we see the Imaginer of Harmony as the bridge card in this reading that brings your human journey in closer alignment with what is happening on the spirit realm and in your soul. Okay. There's the Imaginer of Harmony, diving really deep into that ocean of creation. And again, under the light of the full moon. So more notations from the spirit realm about pay attention to the cycles of the moon. That's been coming through. And okay, so I'm getting this message. On the full moon, what's coming through is light a candle. Really what spirit means is take some time to be with yourself very deeply this month, because the Queen of Art is standing you are standing in the realm of the Queen of Art, right? Under the light of this notion of having been liberated. It's a very powerful central message this month. So as the full moon comes on, Spirit keeps telling me, light a candle. I think that means be in the moment, be consciously in the moment. Have some prayer or meditation or light a candle, whatever it is that brings you into that part of feeling connected to your soul and the spirit side of your soul, right? So if we look at the Imaginer of Harmony, who has the ability to travel in such a way under the light of the full moon to reach any destination that is desired. It's very interesting. If you look at the left side column, we see on the human realm this notion of reintegration in order to complete a transformation and be in command of your destiny and move forward into the realm of the Imaginer of Harmony. And what I love about this, on the spirit realm, we see on a soul level this very interesting card. I've never seen it in this placement before on the soul level. Look at that. That's the Judgment of Knowledge. So we've been having a lot of judgment cards. There's a lot of thought. There's a lot of processing going on. This is really fascinating in this placement. This is a story. All right, I'm going to go back to the cards. Spirit's pushing me, chiding me, actually, about the reflection. So let's go back. I want you to look at the left column while I chatter what's coming through from Spirit. The Judgment of Knowledge reflects the reintegration that is going on in the human realm. It's a very similar process, very sacred because of the notations that are in the mythology of this card. So the Judgment of Knowledge is about a gentleman who had done his work, Spirit says, kind of like Merlin. It's a very reflective story with one significant difference. This gentleman had some social standing, in a sense. He had some wealth. He had some power in the community. And yet, there were obstacles. There were some hijinks, Spirit says, going on unbeknownst to him. Things that were sapping his energy. The mythology of the card is that there were a small group of people, they were cheating him and stealing from him. But in relation to this reading, Spirit says, it's about becoming aware and having a moment where, given your growth and given the change that has happened, you have to sort of figure out, well, how am I going to deal with this? I see that this is, Spirit saying, incorrect. The flow of energy had been interrupted. What has to happen in these moments is a regaining of your power. And Spirit's talking about the Queen of Art again. These are the kind of artful things. Now the sun's starting to come through the curtains. All right. So, he had to gather himself. He had to reintegrate himself. And holding his magic wand, right, its power in his hand, he had to go straight to that which was the disturbance, face it, and say, that is not going to be allowed anymore. You have to return to me that which you have stolen. And he stands very firm in his place. In Spirit saying, in sort of a powerful yet loving and gentle way, just facing it. The process that happens when we come into a moment where we have a realization in order to move us forward. And in that moment, we do have to stand strong in our personal power. So what happened was he addressed the situation, asked for resolution, and those folks that were carrying on in an unethical way were turned into beasts and vanquished into the forest to live out their days with their intentions on the outside. Very interesting story. So basically Spirit's talking with me. Sorry, I'm hesitating because there's a lot coming through this morning. Spirit's talking with me about the process of shift and change that the reading is attempting to speak to. So on a soul level, there is an internally directed shift and change about coming to a place of standing in the truth of yourself, the knowledge of yourself, and being able to, because last month we were talking about the initiate, remember? The initiate always takes a new journey. And here this month, we're talking about coming to a place where you're able to understand that which drains your energy. On a soul level, it is about taking the next step into a place of empowerment to help guide the journey that you're having here on earth and to complement that which your soul experiences on the human realm. It's fascinating to me the way this is aligned. So let me toggle back for you. Coming to this moment of sacred assistance and reintegration on the soul level and on a human level, reflected. Spirit's talking about being so aligned with both of those places of your being. And sandwiched in between those two things, the notion of imagining harmony. What a beautiful transition to make and reflective. And I think this month, Aries, you're really going to feel it. It's incredible, this vision of an Aries and the type of journey that you take and the sacred notions that are wound up in that. Highly creative. Right at the center, the Queen of Art, the fire and the passion of an Aries sitting enthroned in the triple spiral, coming into a place of sacred dialogue, being in command of your destiny and moving it forward in a very particular way. It's a quiet reading, but it's powerful. Sitting next to the judgment of knowledge, we see another dialogue. Fascinating. And again, another notation of the full moon. That's the dialogue of art. We see Merlin, having been fully transformed, sitting aligned with the sacred feminine. And that alone is astounding, isn't it? That's his sister. They're, when I look at this card, I always think they're communicating telepathically. So his sister built this tower for him so that he could inhabit a place in which he had as many perspectives as possible to look out into the world and consider his own existence. And in the light of the full moon, they sit together, receiving this beautiful, the waters, the knowledge of wisdom, right? The art of sacred vision, sitting directly above the Queen of Art. Look at that. Who sits above the sacred woman of skill, who holds the spool of destiny. This reading has given me chills this month. It's really profound in my view and in my experience of these cards coming out. I have never seen this type of an array. So next to the dialogue of art, we see the King of Skill. It's the moment when this reintegration takes place. It delivers you, Spirit says, into the realm of the King of Skill, who has his shield at his back. He has made his transition as well. And there he is, coming across this long journey. There are the waters. You see the golden sand and the light outside the window. A very peaceful scene. Spirit's talking about the warmth of creating this transition. His shield is at his back. And what he does now is he literally makes his shoes. He's a cobbler. He's making the shoes that he will need for his new journey. The king of the skill set that was required to be learned and taken up in this type of a journey. Really profound. The outcome card, of course, no surprise. I want to remind you again about April. Let's take a look at that just for a minute. Look at the outcome card in April, the dreamer of growth. Rooted into the sacred realm. In order to imagine what could be possible and become able to manifest it, hearkening us to the journey for the next month. And this month, this outcome card is a beautiful foundation. Having come through all the things I spoke about, you now stand in this beautiful foundation of sacred knowledge. Standing feminine energy flowing to and from the sacred realm. Standing with the ancients. Standing with all that beautiful male energy. Incredible. Have a wonderful month going forward, Aries. I'm going to leave you with the photo of the cards, okay? So you can ponder that. I'm really looking forward to hearing about your journey. Anybody that feels so inclined, please do put something on the thread about what you are experiencing. And as always, please remember to like and subscribe and share these videos. I am eager to experience the month of May myself. And as an Aries rising, very eager for this transition to take place and this reintegration in order to come to a place where I hold my destiny in order to walk forward, resting on this new foundation. So Aries, I will look very much forward to seeing you in June. Have a lovely month. Thank you, everyone.